Hey everyone, Brian jumping in top of the podcast to let you know we had a little bit of some audio issues going on with Sam's mic on this recording, so you may notice it fluctuate and be a little weird. I tried my best to make it sound pretty good, but overall, still very listenable, and I hope you all enjoy the episode. Let us know what you think.
From the infectious freighter ship of fright comes the bloodiest love boat episode ever made. That's right, we're aboard the cruise ship of Cooties and headed full steam ahead as we enter the fourth installment of the Spanish splatterfest that is Rec 4 Apocalypse. We get a ragtag team of survivors who yet again have to fight the demonic-infested goo goblins that are running amok, this time in a lab on the high seas. How many blackouts does it take to compromise a mission? Can a person taste the tangy difference between a lamb and a monkey? And what does it look like when a zombie gets motorboated? Hope you packed your Dramamine, made sure your security cameras are on, and whatever you do, don't eat dinner, because we're about to get shipwrecked. I mean, wreck Ford.
Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
Whoa.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So good. If what the actual fuck was a movie, out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Hello, club members, and welcome to a brand new meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. Tonight, we put down our cameras once and for all as we discuss 2014's Rec 4 Apocalypse. Before we kick off tonight's meeting, we're just five guys and we're having a good time because we had to bring back the beautiful babes themselves, the Horror Bandwagon. Welcome.
Hello. Hey. Thank you for having us yet again.
Of course.
We're here.
We're happy you're still joining us for this series.
We're happy that you allow us to come back each and every time. Mm-hmm. Listeners, we're so sorry that we were here.
No. Wait a second. We're on this wreck roller coaster together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Exactly. This is a journey. These are the good times in life. Though I gotta say something that it just popped into my mind that I haven't said in the past few episodes that we've been together, is that your theme song always one slaps, like it's amazing. Mm-hmm. But two, I always love the so good, and every single time I say so good so many times. Every single time.
Excellent.
That's all. Perfect. Sam put that together. That's our genius behind that one. So,
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Great. Yeah, no, I'm so glad to have you guys on again. It's like a shot of energy every time. Well, we're gonna have to figure out a way to keep you around.
Because we shoot up and then you'll see the episodes, we just slowly lose our steam. And then it gets shut up again.
The energy level.
But yes, so thank you. We'll talk more in a moment.
That's it. We just stopped in for 2 seconds. I'm sorry.
So thanks for popping in, guys. Have a good
great
night.
time. Have a great time, guys. just calling in.
Ooh, yes.
We'll call you.
The pre-recorded call-in show. It's always great having you guys here, and now we got to figure out some other movie franchise to work our way through. Oh my god, I wrote that down. That's what I meant to say, though.
But that's
like a more casual way. Just like
I have a shopping list of found footage installments that I think.
Oh, it doesn't have to be found footage. We can exit that world.
Oh, are we gonna venture? Ooh,
we're venturing off.
We could let you guys even suggest a fun series. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff that you've dived into that we don't know anything about. So we'll plan stuff because I know.
Yeah, exactly.
In case you didn't know, you've been roped into appearing on the show every 5
Yeah, every about 4 to 5 weeks you're going to be on.
We've signed the contract. We've signed the scroll.
See, it's almost like this time we need to pick something that we know going into it has a million movies, like Friday the 13th or something, where we don't have to think about what to do for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty coasting.
Ooh, like an autopilot IP.
Maybe we can switch my picks to that so I can actually pick something other
movie
than
you want
Friday
to
the 13th.
And we'll just start putting you okay I like it.
I just request that there be goo at all times. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. Ooh, we should look for the gooeyest franchises and cover that.
Oh, Cody is gonna hate that.
I was about to say.
But he'll be here.
I'll just be bringing the zeros every time.
Oh no,
that might make it better.
It'll definitely be interesting.
Yes, it would. All right.
That was a dastardly laugh. I like that.
Of course, don't forget to jump into our Discord, the best place to continue this conversation with us as well as other fans and past guests. You can follow Chuddle the Sam as well on Letterboxd for all his movie opinions, and at Ross Purvis on Instagram for a peek at his artwork and tattoo work and all that. He posts fun memes and shit too. So I mean, he's all over the place. You gotta love it, and you gotta check
Ross
it.
is so good.
Instagram.
It's a typical, but it's like better than like an Instagram. Sam, come on, you don't just want to follow an Instagram. This is better. This is Ross. Get on it,
It's
and
an
us. Don't
experience.
forget about
It's
us at Chuddle the Pod. Sorry, Ross. It's
No.
good.
Yours is better.
So good?
It's a look behind the curtain. It's so good.
Yes, and us at Chuddle the Pod as well. We love it over there. And last but certainly not least, we have a Patreon. And I'm going to throw you off right here because we got to shout out our Covenant of Witches. Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank your beautiful souls.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, cool.
Keep it moving.
We're trying to keep it moving, keep it tight. But you guys, we do love you guys for sure. And we are working on, we got a new Patreon episode that's going to be coming out soon that we're working on and all that fun stuff that's with that. So let's get into the movie. Here we are. Rec 4, finally.
Whoa.
Yeah, here we go. Directed by
We're on a boat.
Jaume Balaguero, written by Manu Diaz and Balaguero. And Pocket Plaza did help with some creative stuff on it, but he wasn't like the director or the writer like he was in the past stuff. But it's still the same creative team behind it all.
Right. The other guys worked on those movies, right?
Yes. In some aspect, one of them was bouncing all around anyway.
You know what? That makes sense because this had the essence of a VHS. Wow. Okay. Of a rec movie. See, I'm mixing franchises.
Right.
But it was something fresh. I like to see that there was different people coming in.
Yes, for sure. There's a fun piece of trivia I have about that once we get to that section too. But yeah, same creative team bouncing around through it. This some of our key players, Manuela Velasco as Angela Vidal, Paco Manzanado as Guzman, Hector Colome as Dr. Ricarte. Those are kind of like the big guys. You have the Ismael Frishti as Nick, the radio computer guy. Dude. And Crispulo Cabezas as Lucas, Cyber Creep. Yeah,
Lucas is the other
agent guy, cop guy.
Yeah.
I mean, those are some of the big ones. The old lady Maria Alfonso Rosso, she has been in, like, I looked at her IMDb. She has like 120 credits and is still acting and like doing stuff. So it's like she maybe is well known or something. So it could have been like a, hey, look, it's that lady. I wonder if
she does like a lot of voiceover stuff because her voice just sounded so familiar. Maybe because it reminded me of my own mother, but like, but her voice sounded very familiar.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like skimmed through it. I'm like, I don't live in Spain. I don't know any of this.
Kudos to you though for like researching and saying everyone's names. See, this is also like a wrap up of the whole franchise. For every Rec 2, Rec 3, this one, kudos to you for saying all the names.
It's always But yeah, so those are the big guys here. Now we can jump into the Goro meter.
It's time.
Forgot about that part. Basically, on a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho the Sadness, how gory is the film and how many Goros are in it, where we can confirm there's one.
There's a Goro. We got a Goro.
If you didn't catch it, the guy who like pilots the ship, he calls himself the pilot. His name is, he's like, call me Goro. I didn't think we'd get any Goros in here.
Several times.
Unless we covered Mortal Kombat.
Right. We finally got one. Finally got a Goro.
So it's got definitely
at least a one
tacked onto it no matter what. So that's an additional point.
Now for the actual gore. Somebody else go first. I need to hear somebody talking.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Okay.
Yeah, please, Ross.
Okay. I was gonna, like mine was between like a 7 and an 8, so I'll do 7.5 on this one because there's some. It's gory. It's consistent. I will give it. It's consistent. There's like peak gore scenes and then very, I guess, tamer gore scenes, especially for this series.
Yeah.
Interesting. I gave it a 9.
Really?
Okay.
I gave it a 5 for intensity because I mean there's scenes of pretty intense gore happening.
There's some very intense gore.
Maybe I could like lob off a little bit on one of those. Well, one of them's getting the extra point for the actual Goro in it, so that's why it's a 9. So maybe it's an 8 with an extra Goro, so it's a 9. There we go.
That's true. You know, I'm going to bump mine to an 8 because there is a Goro.
Okay, maybe talking it over, I'd probably bump it down to about an 8 with an intensity of 4 and consistency of 4.
Yeah.
I agree. 8 for the same reasons. How do you guys feel about the gore in this one?
I'm debating between a 7 or 8, because there was like when they had like a creative gory death or something gory happening, I was like, oh shit, that rocks. But then at the same time, it kind of just felt repetitive. Some other stuff or like cutaways.
Wow, repetitive. We're already getting into it.
All right. But then there was also like some, I want to say CGI stuff that I wasn't too fond of. I'm going to give it 7. I'm going to give it 7.
Okay.
I was also thinking it was a 7. There wasn't, I feel like there wasn't as much gore as in some of the movies. Like this isn't Terrifier 2
There's some
level.
neck ripping.
For sure.
But
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel it was almost more gooier than gorier. Like the
definitely is
were
gooier.
Very
Because
good.
for
the
me,
gooey
like-
series for sure.
Yes.
yeah, this was like more tolerable than some of the other stuff that we've seen. This wasn't a movie that I was having to look away and like shield myself from
Oh,
the
totally.
movie. So I would say a 7 for me.
Nice. I think that's a good roundabout score. 7 to 8 for Rec 4. All right. Who is this horror for? Asking much, pretty much subgenre.
I think
How to watch it for beginners. Not for beginners. I'll start there. I wouldn't start with Rec 4.
yeah. No. Yeah.
That's the one.
So
Go
I think I like horror
backwards.
movies. What would you recommend? Rec 4 for sure.
Start off right out the gate. No, yeah, you're right. Like this is not for beginners. Like specifically because they're pulling in from the all 3 installments in
Yes.
character wise and plot wise. So it's like you'd be so fucking lost. I mean, for the most part.
This one
Yes.
more than any of the other ones. I think you need to have seen the other ones to watch.
Although out of context, just having to continuously have a character ask about a wedding the entire time, we're like, what? What does
What
Oh,
does that
yeah.
mean?
What does that
What
even
is
mean?
That really
Is that a
doesn't
code
mean
word?
it's not as
That's a
gratifying.
weird character choice.
I will say, if you are not a big fan of your horror cliches, but are into like action and like thriller, I guess, I feel like this one really combines horror and action. There's a lot of action
Yes.
happening. There's explosions. There's, just, I don't know how many jump scares are because everything's just running up at you. So I feel like
Yes.
if you're looking for
Right.
something fast paced and fun,
Mhm.
I think this one is for you if you're not essentially like slashers or something like that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Totally.
Yeah, I think it hits all the other subgenres we've called any of the other Rec 4s, minus the fact that, the other ones have been a little bit different in their tone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
But
the
it's
other
all the
ones-
zombie infected type of thing again.
Mhm.
That's a good way to end that one. Who is it not for? Animal Death. We'll
Animal
just start with
Death.
there.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't have
Um,
any other huge.
No, I mean, there's animal
Callouts.
death. If you're kind of really against vivisection, probably not the movie for you. Yeah, I guess, and also just general, like, there's not a lot of vomit in this one either. There's no
I don't
barf.
recall really much any blood vomit. That's usually what it is, and I don't.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah,
for like the
like
Rec
every
series.
wreck has had that, right?
Right? At some point,
Yeah.
you just got to totally change it up. No blood
I mean,
vomit.
that's fair. I guess if
Yo.
you're like afraid of tight spaces, the boat setting is pretty
Yeah, being
Tight
out in
and
open
narrow.
water.
Uh-huh.
water.
Mhm.
I wouldn't love this. I hate being in the middle of the ocean. So
Yes.
this is
It's a weird feeling. I haven't experienced that in a long time. A bit like being on like a cruise ship. I
yeah.
was much
Oh, yeah,
younger. My parents, were able to take me on a vacation with them. I ain't doing that myself now. But yeah, just like being like you would see like late at night if you were out in the middle of the ocean, like there was no, and it was like a dark night. There was no way to tell between like where the horizon was of the water and like the sky
Yeah.
ending, and it's a really weird feeling, just like floating in,
It's like
in
space.
nothingness,
I don't like it.
the void.
Yeah,
It looked back.
Interesting.
Maybe you can do some reflecting.
Did it?
I don't know. It always does.
It always does.
It always does, man.
Who picked it? Why? History? We're back around to this one because it's tradition at this point.
Yeah.
We kind of collectively just thought it and it came to fruition.
We were almost like, let's not do it. But then we're like, we kind of have to do
not?
it.
It's the last one.
We had to. Why would we just not do it? Yes.
Well,
so here we are.
For you all, most of you, I think, except Cody, had seen these other movies. All three of them.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, you hadn't seen this one, and it seemed like you're all like, "Yeah, it's fine. We don't have to." I was like, "Well, I kind of want to finish it."
No, I mean, it was a smart decision to make. Like, why not close out the series? And yeah, like you said, none of us had seen this one, so that's going to be a fun way to go about it here for sure.
And apparently, many other people won't be able to because this is hard to find to watch.
Yes. Yeah, we were just lucky enough to all have copies.
Yeah, so happy we all owned each of our own copies of this movie.
You wouldn't steal a car.
No,
you wouldn't kill a cop.
It's great that it's on a boat because we definitely.
Oh my god! I was going to say the same thing, Brian.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad you know it. Yeah,
but you know what's funny is that Rec 3 used to not be streaming at all either. Remember, I wanted to show you, and the reason why we didn't see it is because it wasn't streaming anywhere. And then by the time we were going to record the Rec 3 episode, it just started streaming everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
There's just a global conspiracy that every Rec film cannot be watchable on the same platform at once.
Okay.
It's in the contracts.
It's in the contract.
Yeah. All right, there's all of that behind us. Now it's time to move into the spoiler territory. Spoiler zone. That's right. We're going to spoil the shit out of it now. Quick brief synopsis. An ill-fated television reporter is rescued and sent on a voyage across the ocean, but she is followed by the deadly virus that has plagued her and numerous others.
Ooh.
Behind the scenes, before we get into the kind of round table, whatever we want to talk about thing. If you were to watch Rec, and then Rec 2, and then this film back to back without watching the end credits, the 3 would play out as one entire sequence of events. I mean, obviously, that's kind of what it is, but
yeah.
Despite this being a 7-year franchise spanning 4 films, all the events take place within hours of each other. Most of the film was shot on an actual oil rig ship. Some of the sets had to be recreated from the ship at the studio in order to allow space to film and do some of the more stunt type work and stuff. But tight spaces.
I'd assume the kitchen with the monkey and the spinning and
maybe
the insanity.
I feel like the kitchen would probably have some of the most open space, but like the hallway, the corridor, stuff like that.
I know for a fact I would hurt myself on this boat.
Oh yes,
I will trip. Yes. I will bang my knee and
all the bulkheads.
Exactly.
Well, because I can definitely share that sentiment because
You're tall.
I'm tall and I'm a weird nerd who likes to go toward naval vessels for fun.
So imagine you like running
hurt yourself on a few.
So yes. Lots of ducking and like squeezing myself through the tiny little doors. Yeah, it was not fun.
I do appreciate the fact, even though this movie was on a boat, it still had vent scenes. So they kept the vent thing alive.
Yeah, don't worry. We get some vent critters for sure. The possessed girl
in the movie.
Nice. The possessed girl who started the outbreak is the only character to appear in all 4 films, even though she's only like kind of like mentioned and I think maybe talked about in this one, but she makes a thread through.
When is she in 3?
But you see her in the reflections
scene or something like that. No, that's the demon lady. But
the original Patient Zero. Right?
Patient Zero. Yeah, exactly. I forget how she's mentioned in 3, but it is. It's the only installment of the franchise where we do not see the possessed girl in person. The writer-director Balaguero and his partner Plaza have announced that there's not a 5th installment planned, even though, our end is left open-ended.
I Googled it as soon as it was over.
Yeah.
I know it's like in developments or in talks, nothing.
No. There's no plan. They don't want to do it as well. Obviously, this is the only one I mean, we're in spoiler zone, but big spoiler, that's not found footage. This is just like a straight up movie at this point.
Right. And it doesn't even
try
and change. Yeah.
Nope.
It's just like, hello, we're a movie.
As opposed to like Rec 3, that does make that change.
I kind of miss the found footage aspect of it. I don't know why. I missed it a little bit because it's been like a gap. I don't know why, but
no, I agree. Like with this, specifically with this one, is that all the security camera footage is like it's like an appetizer of
here's a
you know what I mean?
taste
We're like,
for you,
oh,
freaks.
look, I was like, oh, I want some more of that, and then you don't
like
get
for your found
footage.
footage weirdos out there. Here, have this.
Yeah,
I felt that was enough. That little appetizer was enough for me, and then I was like, I'm fine moving away from how. I'm like, what are they going to do? Carry around the can? I need to keep recording.
Well,
you've been through so much.
Really hard time explaining.
Yeah, there's no way to really like analyze the fact that like why would you keep recording? There's no reason why to.
They could have done it through security footage.
But the boat blows up. Like, how is Nick just like going?
Blows up.
It blows up, and then a lone SD card flies through the air, and Angela catches it in mid-flight, kind of like Free Willy, where he's touched the whale.
Oh
where
my
it's just
God.
like he just grabs it.
That's where it switches to a real movie,
now.
so we can see what happened. Okay, it's just like that, like post-credit scene. That's what it is.
Yeah, I would have dug that.
Again, with this one, another comic book artist, Charlie Adlard, known for his work on his work on the Walking Dead comics, drew a poster for this film's U.S. release, much like Tony Moore did for Rec 3.
Sure, Tony Moore just did like the first 12 issues or something. Charlie Adler did the
rest.
Next 100 and
bunch,
200, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Balaguero and Plaza decided to deviate from the found footage format of the first two movies for considering that keeping it would be implausible to news stories. And as Balaguero explained, they also wanted to make a different movie, not to repeat the same camera of the previous ones. We wanted to make every sequel completely different and unexpected. That's why the third one is like a comedy, tragic comedy. And the fourth is like a B movie with adventure, with survival. We wanted to make every sequel a completely different movie. 4 different ways to approach horror was their thought behind it. Cool. Balaguero and Plaza had no interest in sequels for even the original Rec from the beginning. So its unexpected success is what drove them to make all these other sequels to it.
Sure. I'm glad they wanted to make different ones because they succeeded in that, and it's been more fun to talk about. But also, it gave us Rec 3, which is the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
The elderly woman on the ship is a survivor of the Rec 3 wedding massacre. Also, she obviously believes the whole time that she was like still at the party the whole time she's on this boat, which is a fun little.
I've heard about destination weddings,
and it says that is called that's supposed to be Caldo's grandmother.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
that's so tragic if you really think about it.
That whole family.
Sorry, he got shot up after having his tongue bitten out.
It's best he doesn't know.
Not to mention that she, apparently her kids, according to the story, were like, "It's okay, Grandma. You can just go to sleep and miss the whole wedding."
Yeah.
Right.
No, but then she later on says like, "Oh no, they put me in a home," and that broke me. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is getting real."
I thought she was great. And then, while the third movie focused on the supernatural aspects of the outbreak, this sequel deals with its scientific nature. There's like no mentions of the parasite actually being a demonic entity, its possession of the original host, the involvement of Father Alberta and the Vatican. None of that is like mentioned in this one. This one I wanted to say like, this is like the Resident Evil version with like the Umbrella Company version versus.
Ooh, that's a really good way. Yeah, because I figured if you went through like the religious route, like you could just bless the ocean and just throw them,
throw them overboard.
Hell yeah.
Just
on a plank,
exploding. Yeah,
just walk them on the plank. Just throw them off.
How many priests does it take to bless an ocean?
That's the great philosophical question they've been trying to answer all their lives.
Sorry guys, I didn't mean to bring it up. Well, let's forget.
If we break that down, we'll be here for hours.
Yeah, that's another podcast.
Surprise! We've changed formats again.
Oh,
we will only discuss this question from here on out.
In that way, though, this almost feels like it could have been a sequel more of Quarantine than of Rec because it doesn't have any of the religious aspects to it.
Sure.
You could totally watch. I wonder if you can watch Quarantine and just pretend they recast the girl and go into.
Oh, that's true.
You could. That'd be interesting.
Probably.
Well, find out next month as we cover. Whatever. That's it that I have for the trivia. So now it's time to get into our first six at the beginning for tonight. This is where we're just going to open up the discussion and talk about anything we liked about its scenes, lines, interaction, characters, scares, kills, gore, and our new category of craftsmanship. So, gentlemen, and the like.
I absolutely love the fact that in this movie, they have a lab that's in the ship at the very bottom, and they're conducting experiments, and they're out in the middle of nowhere, and it builds this entire thing up where you think that there is an infected person in a gurney somewhere about to get tested on, and then it's monkeys. It's a monkey, and then multiple monkeys.
Yeah.
Multiple monkeys are let loose on this ship, which goes into my favorite line of the movie, which is just Angela screaming, monkeys! And then putting a boat motor into the vents and fucking
without
purees.
a hesitation, grabs onto it and goes, bruh, just annihilates them.
Motorboat and vent monkeys. It's incredible.
Yeah, after she pops out of the vent too. Like, so she's
Yes.
it's like they're coming behind me. She knows, drops down. We get a little vent
grabs
scare.
Nick's fucking motor thing. Okay, the motorboat.
Yeah.
Oh my god, just the boat
use
motor
of the motorboat.
as
Outboard engine.
motorboating a zombie was just fantastic. Like that was so good.
It was really good.
Also, the
Fucking
worst.
hilarious.
Also, the worst weapon you could possibly have in this scenario, where like a single droplet of blood in your eyes could instantly turn you, and he just has like someone took a fire hose
That is
of
literally
blood
spraying you.
coating him like Evil Dead style. He's just
I did think engine as opposed to like chainsaw would be better because thinking about logically how we're like the chainsaw is gonna get like gooed up real quick and not gonna work. Those motors run through animals all the time and it's fine.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
that's actually the sign on the bottom. If you didn't realize, it said manatee tested, and then that's how they were able to get through most of them.
I would agree with that. That was a great scene. I didn't actually question it all at the time, but in just preparing for us to chat this evening, I realized that it actually doesn't make a lot of sense to have all the monkeys in the hall downstairs when like they had so much security around this one monkey because they infected it. But then they just had a whole bunch of them in cages downstairs that were apparently also infected. And there was no security around that. You could just walk right in.
Yeah.
So I don't quite understand.
Or maybe they weren't infected, and then the original infected monkey went down into the hold and was like swap and spit. I don't know.
The original infected monkey got fried.
Oh, he did.
Yes.
He got fried pretty bad.
He got walked pretty fucking hard.
I was about to give you credit for that, Ross, and now I can't.
Well, do we know? Did he have time before he got fried to have gone back home to the cages?
Could have, but he also could have just been strapped in there because they were like running experiments on him. But I guess once you infected it, you wouldn't want to like put it on a table and strap it in. You just want it to already be there.
Yeah.
So maybe they were all down there already infected so that later they could have them run through these vents and get hit by like a motorboat engine.
Okay. So
Probably.
I also have, there's a huge question that I have plot wise, is that, what was the cook's name? Was it Edwin? Was the name of the cook?
I don't recall.
I missed his name. Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I think so.
So he's the first person to get attacked by the monkey.
Yes.
And then turn.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so, this man in that entire fight scene is that he, like we kind of alluded to it, he literally puts this giant monkey in the wok pan and then just starts putting like pressure on top with the lid and just broils this thing. Not dead, but mostly to the point where it passes out.
Uh-huh.
One of the most brutal animal deaths.
Now, you know
Very
what's fucking
fucked up.
what's
But it's a
fucking
zombie
weird
monkey, so
about
it's fine.
me? That's the thing.
Yep.
You guys know me by now. I will cry at like dog shit and like be brutal shit. when it comes to animals, but like for some reason, this monkey, I kept repeating to myself, "It's a demon monkey. It's a demon monkey. This is fine.
Yes.
This is."
And the special effects for the puppet prop is so good. Like the monkey, it's just so good. Bleh. It just looks so, and then menacing also. Like it's just super. Blah.
Once it was in the walk, but when it first came out, it
was not looking good.
Did not look good at all.
The CGI was kind of funky, like once he was on his shoulder like a parrot, like I was on board.
I was totally sold. See, this is the plot hole that I get. So basically, I'm just gonna go with Edwin. It
is Edwin.
It is okay. So he fights this thing, thinks he kills it, but then prepares the rest of the food covered in monkey viscera.
Oh no!
To the half of the crew. Which that's the part I don't understand.
Do you think he did that on purpose, though? Like, was his mind like...
Well, he was already turned at that point, right?
Yeah, I thought it was
so
monkey
does that
he
mean
prepared.
that
I thought that whole thing was monkey.
Okay, if it is, and then he actually brought it out, does that mean that the infected can cook? Because, like, he had to have, like, completely, like, deferred it. He had to, like, completely butcher that thing and then put it into a stew.
If it's the demon doing it, I know they don't mention the demon in this one, but in theory, it could.
Right, yeah. Based on rec logic.
In this one, I think, yes, it did.
Yes. Okay. All right, perfect. All right. That makes sense.
Well, and since this is a demon virus, it makes sense that it's heat resistant. It makes it through the cooking process, because it's from hell. So,
that's so true. I didn't think about that.
Exactly. I mean, I liked just going back into the apartment. That was always fun. The opening scenes back in the apartment. And I did notice that the people going in this time had better shot control with like their guns. They weren't just spraying them everywhere.
This was military.
So they
got SWAT team in the second one. Firemen, then SWAT team, then military.
And then we got some old cameos, fireman popping out, and
Yeah, I was wondering if like these were like they must be still the same people from the previous movies. But I really like the fact that we got I think this is the first time that we were in the apartment without camcorder lens.
Yes.
Exactly. Right. This is the first time we're actually just witnessing it in cinema.
Yeah, and the shots are so good. Yeah, I also like the fact, like I do love that they're in there to possibly get survivors, but then just planting the explosives every floor so they could just level the building.
Got to take it out.
It's good. Oh yeah, at that point, just to resurrect it on a boat.
And then we get, the return of Angela. Music swells up. It's all like, oh my god, it's her. Remember?
She always has to have an entrance. She's like so extra.
Right?
Angela,
she played that.
Out.
She's playing it back on her like camcorder she's holding.
Yeah,
that's so funny. I always find that so funny that like if we're going by demon logic, she has all the evidence to incriminate her, and she's still holding on to it, especially in this installment where she's like, "Hey, I have this. Don't look at it. But I got this."
Maybe the demon doesn't know what it is. I don't know. Do you think the demon's like up on video cameras? It like understands afterwards or something. I don't know, because there is that point. Then she meets up with our Guzman guy here
shortly after that. Yeah,
Guzman.
And there is a point where like I was watching it the second time around where she does slightly start to try to be like open her mouth a little bit wider. I was like looking to see if they're going to give us any hint of anything.
Yeah, there was some great Guzman. There's some great Guzman parts. My favorite was towards the end where what was it? Dr. Riccardi realizes that that the point of origin is this like the parasite that's in what they think is Angela. I like that like he's trying to protect her, and then he fully explains it. He goes, "We have this on video. You need to do this right now." And then normal action logic would be like, okay, he's going to shoot out a window and they're going to dive out and like there's going to be this other child chasing. And I love the fact that he goes, and he puts his gun down and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's fair. That's that reads. Yeah, you can cut it. That's fine." Like he does it like 2 or 3 times during the movie where I was like, oh, I was not expecting that at all. He was like, "Nope, that makes sense. Yeah, no, you're right. You should just cut her up."
Now, I will say this. This is something that splurted out of my mouth while watching. I don't know if you guys agree. I'm probably the only one who is going to be on this camp. But does Guzman look like a lizard to you guys? Or like Like, no, hey, some lizards are good looking, but like,
I think you heard it.
But he kind of gave me what's Spider-Man's arch nemesis that is also like a lizard.
There's the lizard.
Yeah, it's called the lizard.
Now that's an attractive lizard.
He looks like he looks like the Geico gecko a little bit.
I did notice that, like, he's
no offense to this man.
I think I need to look at him more. I did not look for his lizard qualities, but now I will.
I had a note, honestly, for Paco, who plays Guzman, is that like he doesn't really blink. Like he doesn't. I think it's the reptile thing reads where like I was waiting for him to blink like a normal person, and he didn't.
Yeah, there you go.
So I mean, he's
telling
probably
you,
Sergio and Ross have been in some weird discords. They're starting to think there's reptile people.
Though I will also say this, and this is going to be to take a stab at him again. I swear to God, no offense to this actor, I swear, but I'm giving him props for giving this movie props for being a bald man myself, for casting a lead handsome man as in your movie who is like thinning hair, thinning, but he rocks it. He's intimidating the whole time.
I was into it. I was like, I liked that as well. I was like, you wouldn't see that in an American movie.
Yeah, this is like the Guzman is the everyman.
Exactly, which is why it hurt even more at the end.
It really did. The switcheroo was like,
switcheroo.
No,
I mean, that was a big deal. We'll just get right into that now. The reveal that the demon actually moved to Gustav in the apartment, that got me. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
In these previous films, in 2, we find out that Angela had got wormed, which this is our 3rd worm in a mouth movie in a row.
We've been covering a lot of worm and mouth movies.
Yeah.
It happened in Revealer, it happened in Slither, and now it's in this.
I don't like it.
And that's the Chuddle promise. Every other movie is gonna have a worm in your mouth.
But so last we had seen as the audience, she was infected with this demon worm in her and was like using her body to escape. So that's where we are as the audience.
And you're led to believe that throughout this whole movie. I don't know if you guys ever were, but I kind of was anti-Angela during this movie. I was like, get her.
Totally.
Well, sure. Yeah, exactly. Because we're thinking that she's being controlled by a demon. That the
like
worm
she's got dreams.
Like when she escapes from the lab, like when she gets out of her restraints and stuff, I'm like, oh, she's about to infect the entire boat.
Yeah.
And then like because of her actions, I mean, like what she releases when Edwin gets infected, they throw him into the freezer. She opens the freezer so he can pop back out. Then she bites Dr. Riccardi. And like, I mean, to the point of like, hey, test yourself because I am negative. But like all of those leading through, whereas especially from Rick too, when like she's literally a demon, you're like, okay, all right. So
then I had like a pie on my face at the end. I was like, oh, sorry, girl. You're cool.
Well, and there was also that scene too where she was talking with Nick, and she was very interested in how long it was going to take to decode the footage.
Yes.
So where it would then be revealed like what happened. It was very suspicious.
Super sus. Okay, I really do. We need to talk about Nick because Nick is one of the weirdest protagonists I've seen in a movie in a while, just because he starts off with like, he's basically a cyber peeping Tom, and he's just a horn dog. And then he's like a super fan. And then I like the fact when he meets Angela for the first time, he like sees her and then he scuttles to the other side of the ship, like looking at a monitor that he clearly wasn't before. Oh, hey, what's going on? I mean, I am a fan. I mean, I occasionally watch it time to time. Like he's just schmoozing it off.
I thought he was adorable during those scenes for some reason. I thought I was like, oh, he's just, I
did too. I could have just gone
goofy
without him being a creep watching her.
Yeah, I think I actually must have missed that somehow.
That's like his introduction is like he's just like sitting there watching her change or something ridiculous.
He was like literally about a minute and a half away from beating the bishop before like the entire crew walked up behind him while he had his fucking Dre beats on.
Yeah, But this movie got me because towards the end where all chaos is letting loose, right, as these movies usually do. Nick, I was on Nick's side. And then he had that one scene with, what's his name?
Oh, with Lucas?
With Lucas. And he was asking for his help. And Nick does nothing. He has the weapons.
Diddly.
Does nothing, stands there, not even runs away.
Yep.
He stands there, watches this man get ripped to shreds. And at that point, I thought, okay, movie, kill this character off. I'm no longer on his side because he just let this man die. But no, the movie twisted it back on me again, and he makes it out alive.
Totally
you know who
makes it
wouldn't?
alive.
You know who wouldn't have let that man die? A Tune.
A Tune.
Absolutely right.
They still don't have vents.
But I do want to.
They didn't have to.
Big enough.
I do want to give a shout out to his little like spring-loaded like Twinkie hopper that he has for little snacks that he just like keeps hitting.
Yeah.
So good.
You want one? And I do like that he asked Angela to like, come on, you're going to record a voicemail message for me. You're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
Or like,
You can. You know what? It's fine. It's totally. We'll just do it later.
ultimately, and then their final scene, like kind of mid-credit, not even mid-credit, beginning credit, where they're in the taxi together.
Mhm.
Very
that was
like
a
The Graduate.
but that
ending.
felt very more Rec 3, if anything. Like it was a fun little like where the taxi driver's like, "Hey, crazy party, huh?"
Yeah.
And they, like look at each other like, "What?" But
So at the end, we find out that early on the worm had switched from Angela and was in Guzman the whole time.
Mhm.
Yes.
But then at the end, the worm just kind of falls out and falls into the ocean. And then is it the post credit where we see it sort of swimming around and something?
No,
comes
that's
up
like
and nips at
that's
it?
It's
the
like
very
the button.
end.
Oh,
to the
that's
very end,
before
yeah.
the
Is there
credit.
another credit scene after that?
After the fish eats it, there's a scene where Nick and Angela are in the back of a taxi, all like bloody, like they just got back onto land and are being taken home. And the
Yeah.
taxi
Damn it, I
driver's
missed
like,
that.
"Oh, looks
It's
like
really
you guys
quick.
went to a crazy party." Yeah.
There,
Oh,
I think there was like a news reporter in the background saying something, but I didn't. I
Oh.
don't remember what they said.
Interesting.
oh
Well,
Something
the thing
was
with
being
the
said.
floating worm, I
yeah.
was so disappointed that it wasn't a shark that swam up and ate it because I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, are they setting
Demon
up for
shark?
a fucking shark demon?" Yeah.
Rec
Well, what kind
5
of fish
Demon
got it?
Shark.
And talk about
Hey.
like a way to do a different one again, like keep making it different.
Well, I think we
God.
just figured out how we're making Rec 5 Demon Shark.
yeah.
Come on.
Sharknado.
Oh my god.
It was kind of interesting towards the end of the movie when Guzman was trying to get Angela again with the there wasn't, to me, it's like the parasite's going in between, which is like CG, and I think it's mostly CG. There's not enough goo to that. Like that thing is so
No.
gooey when we see that in every other installment.
It's very gooey in the initial.
He wanted
in the
more
initial,
slobber.
like,
That thing's
Yeah, there needs to be
that thing's going in.
slobber.
It's going in dry, and it's super weird and off-putting. Honestly, like it made it weirder in a worse sense.
Interesting.
If Ross were on set, he would have been yelling, "More slobber!"
More slobber.
he goes with a brush like on
Just
it.
yeah.
Come on.
Oh, drool boy,
Drool boy.
just a bucket of goo just slobbering on there. All right, go.
Drill Boy's
Oh my
another
God.
mascot of the pod.
I mean, yeah, a lot of my other notes go towards the kills and the gore of it. I mean, we talked about the pan-fried monkey. I do like when they're in the apartment, the dude that gets bit and is like, "The rules, do it," and then just gets shot in the head or whatever. That was fun.
That was really good. The fucking the captain, him just casually just walking off the ship and jumping off the boat, I think was like
Done.
such a funny. Yeah, he literally
I was
goes,
like,
"Well,
oh.
see you later," and he just, he just
I was like,
gets
what?
up, and he just marches directly into the sea, and you're like, honestly, I wasn't expecting that, but I was like, you know what? If he's that close to retirement and he's seeing everyone turning into bloodthirsty zombies, I mean, he's a cat. He's like, you know what? It's all right. I'll take the sweet embrace of the sea. That's fine. I don't need to get ripped.
Do you think
apart.
he's just
Yeah.
endlessly wandering the sea floor now as a zombie?
Ooh.
Ooh,
That's
did he get
Rec
bit?
6. I don't know. The worm finds its way to him.
Oh, there
There you
we
go.
go.
Rec needs
they-
to be in space.
See that
It'll get
it
there.
turns him in.
It's gonna
See,
go
okay, this is what
it's gonna go underwater, and then we're going up.
Space.
There's nowhere to go
Maybe
but
I
up.
just go. You could even just go up in the air though, because you could totally have a thing where the worm, like, it's in the sea or whatever, and then it gets like coughed up by the shark or something, and then it like crawls in and just like wraps itself in a cocoon or something, and then it emerges as like some sort of airborne creature.
I just love that this thing is now a parasite when it was like a demonic possession before,
Totally.
but now it's just thing that.
Well, what could it be next?
Anything it puts its mind to, Brian.
Alien. It's an alien, and like there's going to be other ones coming in on a spaceship. It's going to go wild.
Godzilla is what it's going to be next.
I'm really glad
it's going to get irradiated, and then it's going to
atomic.
Oh, wait a minute. That's scary. That's scary as hell.
It's the Cloverfield monster. You didn't know that's yeah.
Wait,
you'll go back to found footage.
You're forgetting the like second title to these movies, though. We can't forget that. It's like Rec 7. Yeah. Too much to handle. Like,
well, this was called
Can't Stop, Won't Stop.
Can't Stop, Won't Stop.
Well, this was called Rec for Apocalypse, and there was no apocalypse.
I was expecting something a lot more than.
See, I thought the plot, just all based off the title, was that like humanity's fucked. Like the infection's already spreading, and they're on the boat to try to find a cure for it before they can get back to land. But it's not even close.
It's not that.
I do really, I love the fact you bring up, like, because the entire time I'm watching On a Boat, where I was like, wow, this is like their version of In Space. Like, because it's just the isolation of it. And it was like, so they couldn't really shoot, like, oh, this person might be infected. We need to take them to a moon base. Like, that's not going to happen in this universe.
Not
but
yet, that's
having
Rec
a
7.
ship in the middle of the, yeah, that's wrecked again.
Wrecked again.
I like when the chef, when he gets thrown into the thing and then they go in to try to inject the serum into him and he gets all bubbly and gooey. There's some goo there.
I thought that made him stronger, but I think he just gets bubbled up, right?
Maybe a little bit of both.
I was expecting him to pop, and
I thought he just
I was expecting for
I do have to give credit to the infected in this movie, because I guess from like origin to monkey back to people, these are way gooier and gnarlier than some of the other installments. Specifically, like just gnashy teeth and just all red and gooey and just just a super size.
I think this is the first time we're getting like a good look at the monsters like straight on.
Yeah,
you know,
right, because it's not a shaky cam.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know what though? This was like I feel like they didn't fully think this part through, because they had a whole bunch of like really buff army guys on the boat, and like they are the ideal zombies to kill you. Like,
yes, they all have body armor on. They're bulletproof. I figured they would have been way harder to kill. Like they're like super soldiers.
Not unless you have a fucking propeller.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. I do like how this entry does feel like a finale entry, at least to me.
Yes.
Because it's very self-referential to the other movies. I mean, we got stuff in the vents. We got an old lady who comes at you at some point, just like charging at you. We got the footage, the security camera like footage. Like, I feel like it's really referencing its other movies that came before it, which I really do enjoy.
Did we see Angela get dragged when we saw some of the old footage? Did we get to experience that again?
We never got. No.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of it.
Okay.
We saw her get gagged.
That's true.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It did feel like a very much they're ending it, even though that there is this little thing at the end. I did look up if Rec 5 was ever going to be a thing, but I was like, I didn't think there would, especially with a name like Apocalypse, but nothing apocalyptic happened.
just like an insinuation of an apocalypse at the end.
A lot of good neck ripping. We get a few good neck rips, and then obviously we talked about the propeller intervent to kill all the monkeys, motorboat monkeys.
Favorite thing.
Wow, it was overboard.
Overboard.
So
I get it.
Funny.
It was a lot. Yeah, I'm not sure where I land on it. I only got to watch this once. Normally I try and watch stuff twice before we talk about it. But I either like it a lot or I think it's terrible. And I'm not sure where
are you
landed
leaning towards?
I guess I'm leaning towards terrible.
Interesting.
I'm leaning towards like the third act of this movie was kind of like a mess, and I was really a lot more engaged before what should have been like the climax most interesting bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Yeah.
What
But in theory, that is something I would love. Like, if I just saw that scene out of context, I'd be like, I need to see this movie.
Yeah. What did you feel about like the very not the but like the action sequence before the end? So pretty much Nick and Angela like got to like the surface and they're running and they're like climbing the ropes and there's just like a massive amount of possessed people coming towards them and they have to like cut the rope. I thought that was just, I thought that was I thought that was cool, but also I kind of think like, oh, they're just spending their budget just to like do something cool.
Sure.
I did think about them spending their budget at the end just in general and the water and all sorts of things. But for me, it didn't particularly do it for me. Like, I didn't find it that interesting or cool. Rye brand.
I think I was fine with it.
Okay.
I wasn't like didn't leave me in suspense of like what's gonna happen. I don't know.
It looked like he had something to say. That's why I called upon you.
Oh no, not much. I'm done talking about this movie.
Damn, oh my god.
No, overall I did enjoy it a little bit more and I had fun with it and I looked at it as just like another kind of piggybacking off of what Rec 3 was, but go to a little bit more actiony and serious.
Yeah,
serious
definitely a more serious tone.
But but
I guess
still different in what they're doing.
If I watched it through a B movie filter, knowing they were kind of going for that, or having already seen it once and then rewatching it, might change how I feel about some of the moments in the movie.
It just felt tonally different to me, so I was like, okay, whatever they're doing with it, that's the tone they're taking for it. Sure, why not? I'm on this crazy ride. This is a wild series.
The thing for me is that like everything was so serious. Like they were like they presented a lot of risks, and the acting was so serious that scene with like monkeys and her like ramming the motorboat up there just felt funny. And so I was like,
very silly.
It's so silly, and I laughed because I just didn't think the rest of it was very campy and funny. It just caught me off guard, you know?
Sure.
Right.
That makes sense.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is the rest of it supposed to be campy? And I just wasn't picking up that I was watching a camp movie this time,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get the tone until the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
I was just gonna say, I think that this is all super fair. The one thing when it comes to the kills and the gore that I wish that we had almost gotten a little bit more of it is it seemed like it ramped up so quickly, right? We know that we had like the 6 military guys who ate the food and got sick from that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we went from very few people relatively were infected to all of a sudden we come back from the monkey scene and everyone on the boat is now infected. It just feels like we jumped up in the stakes there out of nowhere. And I wish that we had seen it spread a little bit more. So it built instead of like, us just now being thrown into it's an escape the boat time.
I think they tried to play that with like the little bit of the security cam footage we saw where it's like you see like one of the doctors get attacked on security footage and then you see another dude in the hallway getting attacked or something like that. But that's the most you get of it like spreading throughout.
It's still pretty quick for sure.
Exactly. Otherwise it's just amped up. I agree with that for sure. I will say the cinematography I didn't think was bad by any means in terms of craftsmanship. It's Pablo Rosso again, same guy who's done all of them, which I think is something to show that like, I mean, he's done a lot of different styles of stuff here.
I thought it was still a bit shaky at times. I was like, goddamn, can't we just see the action for a second? But in a weird way, something I thought, because this whole thing is shot like a regular movie, it still felt visually like the other you could say just the first 2, which are entirely found footage. Right, it still seemed like it was like part of the same universe. It felt the same, even though it was obviously totally different.
Sure.
I do want to ask you guys, do you like everyone's go-to when a zombie, if I forget if we're calling them zombies, but if they're coming at you, everyone's first instinct is to go like this, like arm in front of you. So they're like, their neck is like right on your arm and they're just like, arr, 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 arr. Is that the best way to go about things? I thought about this before. I was like, I wonder if you could go just foot first and like kick them,
try to trip them,
or something like that.
I guess I would try and like grab them by the collar or the neck or something, and just try and hold them.
So hands on the neck.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like, like how you're supposed to hold a snake to keep it from biting you. You have to like grip it in the right way. Okay. It's like you have to, there's some level of danger.
Finagle the head, neck.
To control that head zone.
I think particularly in this movie.
I don't know what it is.
The corridors, the corridors are so tight that like you can't really get around them.
Yeah.
Well, some corridors you can, but some of them you really can't. So I guess it's kind of like strong. But I would have at least done maybe like a World War Z like magazines tied to my shirt and duct tape.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like some kind of barrier. Yeah. Because if I'm going to have that plan of attack, not just like let me roll my sleeves up and make sure I don't get nibbled.
Yeah. I mean, I think either way, everything is not a safe zone. They're just going to try to like bite you either way, but.
Yeah.
This is assuming I have to take it on and I can't run away, because that's my first go-to.
Flee is where I go.
Yeah. And it's all dependent again on type of zombies. Like in this case, we've gone back to fucking terrifying running at you full force zombies versus if it was like a Romero type, slow and everything.
I think Grandma like hopped over.
Right?
She jumped on him.
Hell yeah. Do a little leapfrogging of it and shit. All right, so I think unless anybody else has any other moments that they want to point out to this, I think it's a good time to take a quick little break before we come into our back 12. And we're back. Thank you. We're back. Here we are. 6 again, part 2, the second coming. More questions for us to answer to get into our movie. Hey. So, this one, always fun. Would we survive? Do you think you're surviving boat scenario? Boat wreck? Shipwreck?
No.
Ha!
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I always feel so
especially
confident.
after the timer that he hit for like 20 minutes. Yeah, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We have to
I would have just locked myself in my room and been safe until the boat exploded. And then I would be super dead.
Yeah, that's the tough part, because you can be safe for a certain amount, but then ultimately you're either going to blow up or you have to
jump
off shit, get escape.
But I can't swim.
Because in the movie,
the lifeboat,
you're definitely
done.
dead.
Thanks, guys. This is the encouragement that I needed.
Not like, we'll help you swim, we'll help you figure it out, we'll get you there. Like, done. Okay. You're out.
No. On one ship, there's got to be enough lifesavers and life vests that you could like Michelin man yourself and just like put legs through all of the lifesavers and arms.
You know what?
And then you could kind of
just
is this under the premise that Nick and Angela took the only lifeboat and we're in that scenario?
But didn't the chief scientist disable all the lifeboats like purposefully?
There was some line about
that.
So Dr. Riccardi had a go bag that he brought with him that was an inflatable raft.
Then
all the actual
there's that
boats.
one. So there's no other life rafts on board for us to get into.
He drilled holes in the bottom of all of them.
That's behind the scenes. There's just a shot of it doing all the prep work.
Tex Avery cartoon.
Yeah, I don't think we'd survive then.
Yeah, no.
We're getting blown up or chewed up.
I think the boat aspect adds to it even more so. Because the other one, like, you're on land, you can just step outside if you don't get shot. Where this one, you're fucked if you have to leave.
Right. There's not many places to go.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of a storm. And it's
always
like
storm.
fuck.
It's always just fucking storms.
God. He says, Sinead, it's going to be really bad. I like have to say it's like a...
Storms are rated 1 through 10 in Spain or something. Like,
yeah,
look at this storm. It's an 8.
It's an 8. You're like, what?
They do it like we do fucking Gorometer, man. They rate it on its intensity and consistency.
The Stormometer.
The Stormometer.
So it looks like this could be pretty bad for a long time.
Did anything pull you out of the movie? I mean... It seems like maybe vent machine.
I think vent
monkey is for sure.
Vent monkey for sure. Yeah. But in a good way. In a good way. For me, at least.
Yeah.
There's like one or two CGI things where I was like, this is...
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it didn't... Man, because there's some really good ones, and then there was definitely like some 56K dial-up AOL Messenger style CGI that happened.
Actually, all the monkey scenes pulled me out of it, because even before we get the, granted good practical effects of the monkey and the thing, that even with that whole scene was pretty silly. And I don't know why, but were you guys waiting for a monkey to attack him? Because that's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
No.
I don't think I expected a monkey to come out.
I was not expecting monkey.
I don't think so.
Interesting.
Okay.
You were tuned into
in the
this
kitchen?
one.
Yeah, in the kitchen.
You just said, like, that's going to be a monkey.
I was like, we're going to get a zombie monkey.
No,
Damn, good call.
I think you're
so... Maybe there was something that, like, subconsciously made me think that you guys would have also known, but I guess not.
Sam, what's happened is that you've spiritually tapped into the essence of these films. Mm-hmm. So now you have the rec sense, which is that now you can kind of foresee in the rec universe. Us. Yeah, it's going to really help us. Honestly,
series we're making 5, 6, and 7, and then we pass the torch on. Yeah. So it's going to be the new
Spain.
Fast and the Furious. It's going to be
exactly.
We got to go to Spain. You guys ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Done
and then I'll take 8 personally. I'll just do it as a requel, shot for shot remake of the original.
Perfect.
Nice.
I love
nice
it.
and easy.
Nice. Bring it back.
Yeah.
That's Quarantine, though. They already did that.
Yeah, but Quarantine was in English. I do it in Spanish and continue the tradition.
Authentic. I like it.
What kind of tone or vibe did this have?
Oh, action, thriller, horror.
Yeah.
Monster B. I think I like melodramatic and campy. The more I've thought about it, for whatever reason, it didn't occur to me until we were talking about it tonight. But I think maybe that's why it was a little bit off to me, because for whatever reason I didn't quite tap into it.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is what I tapped into, I think, on this one, is the melodramatic campiness to it. And that's why I was okay with, a fucking motorboat into the vent just destroying CGI monkeys left and right. I had no problem with it. The CGI did not jump out to me for some reason. Maybe I don't know why.
Oh,
but I wasn't like, that's terrible. I was just that's what's happening.
I would agree, although that's true for me in anything. Like, I'll watch Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones and be like, I'm fine. This is good.
I'm fine.
Sure. At a certain point, I accept it because I'm like, they're doing what they can. It doesn't bother me, but I'll still notice it.
Sure.
How many monkeys do we think
got propellered?
Yeah.
Oh god, that's a good idea.
That sounded like a shit ton.
It is a lot.
That's a metric shit ton.
I would say a baker's dozen. A baker's dozen amount of monkeys.
I say at least,
13 monkeys at least got pureed.
Nice, and that was the start of the movie.
12 monkeys.
12 monkeys. That's right. It's 12 monkeys. Shit. Ruined it. Stupid.
But the 13 ghosts were all originally monkeys.
Nice.
Wow.
13
I want to see that version. No, that's the requel that we're making of 13 ghosts.
There's just spectral banana peels everywhere.
But then it's all the 13 ghost versions of those monkeys,
of
dude.
That's like
oh my god! Wait, I love it.
A jackal version of just a monkey would be so.
Just
gross.
like super, just like jacked big monkey with like nails all in them and shit. Oh my god, it's gonna be awesome.
I can see it happening.
Torso.
Just the torso of a monkey.
All right, we're fucking making. We're getting franchises left and right on this episode.
A lot of movies coming out of this one.
Yeah, the whole universe is going to be great. Is there anything about this movie that is unusual for the genre? I'd say it stays within what it's trying to do. I didn't.
Yeah,
agreed.
In its ecosystem, it reads as a record.
It had some surprises, like just in the storyline itself. But I would say, unlike the first 3, where it's like zombie movie, but it's from a demon, and the second one it's different, where they have like the 2 different groups with cameras and simultaneously stuff coming together, and then the third one they lose a found footage and it goes to a regular movie. This one's just like kind of straightforward compared to in its storytelling compared to the other ones.
If I were to reach in this question, I'd say that Angela being like the quote unquote final girl is kind of not really a final girl, because she's kind of technically the villain throughout this whole movie up until a point. Right. And then she becomes a final girl, which I feel like is kind of like a twist on
that's
that.
Sure. That's a good point.
That's actually really true.
100%.
Oh, thank you guys.
No, thank you. And
No, it
this
is,
is why we
'cause
have
I
you
think-
here.
Because I think
Right?
that's a good point, because I mean, like, because you're prepped from 1 and 2, specifically 2, is that like you have the idea that she is the baddie the whole time, even whether
Totally.
she knows it
Yeah.
or not. So having that like switch pump fake, especially the fact where like she actually becomes the real final girl at this
Mhm.
point, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everything else has been like super bad.
Sure. Yeah. What's the message of this movie?
Don't wake up
Oh.
on a boat.
Like,
So-
yeah, there's not this one. If any of the movies, I feel like has the least message, but
I have a little bit to add here, actually, because I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but the name of the boat was the Zarathustra, which
Yes, I did.
is the name of the founder of Zoroastrianism, which is an ancient religion that is all about the struggle of good and evil within yourself and the choices you make, and how that like leads to ultimately like whether you end up in what I think we would consider heaven or hell. But
Mhm.
it really is all about the struggle between good and evil, which I thought was an interesting little Easter egg to throw in there. Because like the church, who I guess you would probably originally think is the good guys, are sort of doing bad stuff here, and then the person you thought was the bad person was actually the good person the whole time. And it was just an interesting little thing to toss in there, as you know, if you just missed that one outside shot of the boat, you would never know that it was there.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw that outside shot of the boat, and I saw what it said, but didn't know everything else attached to the name.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's,
that's really cool.
yeah, it is, because like, you know, good guys are bad guys are good guys, and it's all, yeah, I like that.
Evil
A
is
lot.
literally within you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or a parasitic worm that comes out of your mouth and tries to
That's
Literally
literally within
kissing
you.
any
literally
person
within
around
you.
you.
It's sitting in your stomach right now.
your
Potato,
stomach right
potato.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Other message I would provide is don't stick your finger into other people's foods. You don't know what's
At all.
what's in them.
Yeah,
don't
just don't
do
be go
it.
tasting random food. Don't be tasting food if it's not ready, and you aren't invited.
Yeah.
You never know what will happen.
Exactly.
Maybe a demon made a monkey stew that's like
Ooh.
infected.
Yeah, that's kind of worst case scenario, but but we've seen it can happen. Was this a setting you were familiar with? How familiar are you with ships?
Freighter ships.
Freighter
Zero.
ships.
Only in movies.
Well,
I've seen
zilch.
Under Siege
Yeah.
and Speed 2. That's about all I got.
Nice.
I've toured some Coast Guard boats.
Okay.
But,
Oh,
wait,
okay.
but you guys have toured these kind of boats before, right?
I have not.
I haven't toured a freighter. I've toured a couple like aircraft carriers or larger naval vessels that were like docked and more like museum-y things.
Oh,
Mhm.
right.
But I've never been like, I guess specifically on a freighter. I don't know how different it would be from anything else.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, I think being on a boat, that's the most similar aspect
Been
that
on
I
a boat,
get.
I've been, like,
to it,
on a
really.
party
I've
boat.
never been
Like-
on a cruise, you know what I mean? So I've never even just been
Well,
on
let's
something
just-
that large out at
Even
sea.
that, I don't think I've ever really like traveled through bulkheads or anything like that before.
Yeah.
Sure, you would. Yeah,
Well,
right.
Problem solved. We should just all freight ship ourselves somewhere.
So
we can all experience it.
Yeah, that's how we're
movies.
getting. We gotta.
We need
increase our-
time to come up with what the movies are, so we're gonna do it on our trip.
Yeah.
As we get shipped over to Spain and create Rec 5, 6, and 7.
Boom. Done.
Uh-huh.
The 5 of us are gonna share one like freight container. We're gonna live in that.
Well,
the
we're
whole
gonna
time.
deck it out
Oh, perfect.
first.
We can't get out because nobody in the crew can't know we're in there. So we're not really gonna
That's
get to
fair.
experience the freighter ship.
So the answer to the question is: at the end of this, we still won't know.
We will never learn.
Perfect. All right, let's take us to the final 6 here. 6 returns, the final chapter. Villain level 1 through 10. What are we giving our villain on this?
Low for me, not too high. And maybe because we've been with it before, so it doesn't
Yeah.
feel too different or unique. And if anything, it's for me taking away that extra like possession level
Right.
somehow makes it less like formidable. I don't know.
I would agree with that. I was thinking like I would put it at a 3. And I don't know whether even in saying that, I don't know whether I'm specifically rating the parasitic worm or the disease
Yeah.
or
The
Guzman.
monkeys.
Right. Or the monkeys.
Well, it sucks that like the parasitic worm doesn't really come with like extra strength or anything like that.
No, but it did actually talk to us a little bit, right? Is that at the end where Guzman was like, "Oh, Angela, you're braver than I thought you would be," or something like that. And like you almost had that like supervillain moment where he like starts to lay out the plan or whatever.
But then she can easily outsmart him. So it's not that.
Or she just has to close her mouth.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
What we learned from Slither that they don't know about the other orifices.
Yeah, I gave it a 5 just because I don't know, zombie stuff, like infection stuff is still pretty strong, whatever aspect you want to look at it.
It's kind of hard to escape,
but there's no real there's no figurehead to this villain.
Like the intensity versus the. However, if we tried to split it like the gore meter, the quality, it's relatively inescapable seeming, right? Because it. But beyond that, it doesn't really do it for me.
Sure.
So
it's deadly, but it's just not my flavor of deadly. Mine's like between like a 5 and a 6. I think it goes a little higher up just because it's such close quarters enemy, as in like it's like ship zombies or ship infected versus like normal infected, where it's just I'm on a boat and I'm running around, so there's really no escape from it, and there's a giant storm. So like I feel like it adds to the like a little notch, a little more than a 5.
Gotcha.
It's like an apartment building on water.
Yeah.
That's
inescapable water apartment.
I don't know if I said it, but 4 to 5 is mine.
Okay.
Sergio, did we get a number from you?
I'm giving it a 4, but I really wish that vaccine or whatever they put into the cook, the chef, like mutated him in some sort of way that he became something else, even like third arm. No, I'm kidding.
That's very
like something like that.
I would have been in for it. He should have turned into mostly goo and was like sticky and
I was
then that would have been higher up.
Yeah,
it turns into the goo pile from Scare and Package.
Yes,
I was waiting for like the first Blade movie where they have that weird where it turns the blood and then they just like get bigger and then explode.
Yeah.
Yes,
like that's what I was waiting for. Where it just goes and then just plops like a goose it.
Goose it. All right,
goose it.
If you don't use it, goose it.
Goose it.
Oh my god,
goose it or lose it.
You guys have so much like merchandise potential in this. Like goose it can be like those like sour gel that you just squeeze out and like eat, but you can put your logo on. Oh, that would be perfect.
That'd be perfect.
That would be a good promotional
Chuddle the Pod, goose it.
Goose it. Goo on the go.
Love it.
Goo on the go.
For all of your goo on the go. Does this one deserve a sequel? Should there be a sequel? The answer should there be yes, because we're going to make it again.
It's happening.
Absolutely.
We don't even have to think about it.
Do you want the sequel? Would you be interested? You saw the worm floating in the water.
I'd love more.
No, I think honestly, for me, it's a good stop point. I feel like this is, unless we start getting into like wreck Atlantis.
Right.
Where if it's if it could infect mer people and then mer people start coming up on things, I feel like that would be, I'd watch that.
The shark wreck is Shrek.
Nice. Did you say you did or didn't want it, Sam?
Oh, I absolutely want it. I don't want to stop this. I've had so much fun with these 4. I'm ready for another one to be different. I don't need it to be related to how all this kind of all relate is self-referential to stuff that's happened.
Go away.
I don't need that.
Break off.
But yeah, I'm down for like sort of the same type of virus thing happening somewhere, but with like a fresh way to tell the story. I would only want it if they kept doing different things. That's what I like about it.
Well, where else in the world would you like to go to film it? I mean, that's ultimately what will determine how to do number 5. Where do we want it to take place? We don't have to be in Spain. We could go to Italy.
Vancouver.
Let's look at
Japan.
Swim patterns.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Yeah, let's follow the migration pattern of a shark that would take the worm.
We're going to the Bahamas.
Yeah. All right. Rec 5, the Bahamas. I mean, that's something different.
Naturally.
Nice and bright and fresh. That could be fun. Cody, Sergio, do you think it deserves a sequel? Do you want to see that besides the one we're making?
Fuck no. Fuck this movie. No, I'm kidding. No. Actually, I think I said this before in the other episodes. I would like to see a prequel of the Patient Zero and the story of how that came to be. That would be pretty cool, and I just would love at the end of how it ties into the original rec. That would be pretty cool.
A pre-rec.
Pre-rec. Yes, slow clap.
I also would like a sequel.
Awesome.
I would specifically like the sequel to be a crossover with Sharknado.
Oh,
you just love Sharknado.
I do,
unexpected.
and I will not apologize for that.
You shouldn't.
Oh my God.
You shouldn't be proud of Sharknado.
I feel like in the Sharknado world, they could somehow write in. We could go back to found footage because in Sharknado, it's somehow acceptable for someone to insist on filming the whole time.
Or this is how we also get Shark Cam, because it's a Sharknado, so it picks up a camera in the tornado that somehow gets jammed into a shark.
Oh yes.
And we get to see shark footage of the zombie demon shark.
God.
Boom. All right. I mean,
should we even release this episode?
I don't think we would air this episode. I mean, there's too many good things here.
There's too many. We should keep this all under our hat.
I don't know. I would argue that this is clearly documented intellectual property. So.
What?
Okay.
Wait, are you guys experiencing?
Did we lose them?
Our internet connection is unstable.
Is it us?
No.
Oh, you're back.
There you go.
Back.
Yes.
No, we're good.
Okay, good. Yes.
Okay.
All right, what we got?
You guys
All
were
right.
frozen for us.
Okay, we see you and we do not hear
Oh,
you.
you can't hear us?
Oh, I can hear you.
You can
now.
hear us now again?
Okay.
We lost you guys, yeah.
Oh shoot! Sorry, guys.
Technical
Oh,
difficulties.
it's okay.
Oh
Well,
no!
How we feel?
That's it.
Are we
I
back?
deserve to be wrecked for that.
See, what it was is it was the man is who was responsible for that, because I was specifically saying that this is clearly documented intellectual property.
Yeah,
we know
Paco
that
himself is literally being like, "Yo,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
coming out.
He's like, nope,
Done.
knock this
No.
shit off now. Soundtrack or score? Buying it on vinyl. Nothing would stand out about this. Don't need it.
Classic rec answer.
I would say
Exactly. If I own the
would say-
first one, I'm fine.
I would say pass with playlist at most. Like if this was on like a streaming service, I would listen to it at least once.
You listen to some fun stuff, Ross. Is anything action or figure worthy? Every soundtrack is like, yeah, I'd give it a pass. I'm like, I don't ever need to listen to the Rec 4 soundtrack.
Oh yeah, solid Rec 4
At least once.
soundtrack
Are you kidding
on
me?
repeat. No
There's some
skips.
great stuff in there.
Angelo with the
motor.
yeah.
The motor.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Mhm.
And Slug Demon. I will always take a Slug Demon.
totally.
Oh, would you?
Or like a Mad Balls.
Wait,
where
wait,
just
you
you
said-
squeeze it, it pops out.
Action figure.
action figure. I want a monkey that I can put on my shoulder.
Ooh, that's fun. Okay,
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
and you like
Maybe
can
that's for
control it, and
merch,
it's like trying to
but-
bite at you.
Yeah,
Like, it's a fun
I
little
would
thing.
like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. And is there any merch or prop you would want from the film? The motor, put
The
that on the
motor.
wall. Bloody motor.
Yeah.
Would be awesome.
I would like the snack dispenser, as I said before.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that is a good
It-
idea.
Monkey carcass.
Monkey
The fried
oh,
one.
yes, fried monkey, deep fried monkey.
carcass.
I don't know where I'd put it because it's not the type of thing you want out. But
Just to
Pretty
say
cool.
you have it in ownership versus like I own
Mhm.
that. It's shrink wrapped and it's also put in my spare room. But
It's in the
Right.
monkey cabinet. You got
you have it like as a
Cabinet.
statue right when you open the door or something. You got to put it somewhere that'd scare people when they walk in a room.
It'd be terrifying. And then lastly, what would you want to do at the midnight showing? I said throw like the barrels of monkeys at the screen.
Oh,
and turn
you
the monkeys
stole-
around.
yes.
Yeah.
I thought
My
the same
pumpkin
thing.
fruit.
That was literally the only thing I
That's
had. Honestly.
cute.
That was mine.
Yeah, monkeys and just a barrel of monkeys getting thrown out.
Monkeys,
my
and yeah, you
God.
start. Just, oh my god, imagine
Oh, just a.
countless monkeys.
I would love to see that. Honestly, like I would rent out a theater for Rec 4 just to have an entire theater throw a barrel of monkeys at the screen.
Or whenever like they're passing the worm thing, you know that can that you just open.
The
Oh,
can
yeah.
of snakes, the can
That'd
of
be
worms.
awesome. And they just
Oh,
shoot it
so
out everywhere.
good.
I was just gonna say for the worm casting, everybody else want to try one of my worms.
Oh,
and
that'd
you
be
combine
perfect.
them both. Everybody else
There
want to
you
try one of my
go.
worms, and then everybody opens their cans, and the worms fly
Want to
everywhere.
try one of my
That would be
worms?
awesome.
Ooh.
Oh,
perfect.
my God. Epic.
Yes, poetic. All right. Does anybody have anything to wrap up with those? Otherwise, we're going to get into the ratings. All right, pull out our motorboats and time to hack off some fingers because we are going into our ratings tonight. We're going to use our Chuddle score, 0 to 5 fingers, and we'll run through those. Start with Ross for tonight.
Oh. All right, so we're gonna go with engaging. I was pretty much engaged the entire time. I'm gonna give that a full 1. Sticky, yeah, sticky. There's some. I mean, it's wreck. So you got some really good sticky murders in this. I mean, we're using like
Right.
boat parts and harpoons at this point. I'm for it. T-shirtable. I'm gonna give. This is so weird because I've been on this track. I'm gonna give T-shirtable a big old goose egg. I mean, like maybe the monkey. I don't know, man. Like this is one where there's scenarios that are great, but never in a million years do I think I'd actually wear a T-shirt of anything that happened in this movie on a shirt.
Sure.
Cockles. Oh man, it had a 0.5 until screaming monkeys and then putting a motor into a vent and pureeing so many monkeys. Full cockles on that one. Rewatchable is going to get a 0.5 for me. I think it's because it's so concluded. As in, like, I don't necessarily feel like I need to like rewatch this unless I'm watching the entire Rec series again, and then I would probably finish off with a bang.
Oh, sure. Sounds good. I'll go next. Engaging. I gave that a 1. I was pretty engaged the whole time. Both times I watched it, actually. Sticky. I agree with that. 0.5. I don't. There's memorable scenes, but it's not my favorite by far of any of the Recs. T-shirtable. I gave it a 0 as well. It's not that I wouldn't like recommend or represent the thing. I just, like I said, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Seemingly that cool that I would like. I would much rather have a Rec 3 t-shirt. Cockles, though, I did give a 1. I was enjoying it and having fun the whole time I was watching it. And rewatchable, I gave a 1 as well. Because I enjoyed it. So I gave it a 3.5 overall. Sam.
Yo.
Would you please tell us your score?
I never give my total. You guys will figure it out.
What was your total?
The 3.5.
Oh, that's good. Engaging, 0.5. I was not fully engaged the whole time. I was definitely like drifting off in my own thoughts or, getting distracted. So 0.5 there. Sticky, that's going to be another 0.5. I think I'm always going to remember the motorboat and vet monkeys, whether or not
whether that's a good thing or not.
Yeah, exactly. T-shirtable, I actually will give it a 0.5 there because I think just the image of her with the motor is cool. So I don't want a shirt for this movie because I don't like it that much, but I think that's cool. A cool image. Cockles, 0.5 on the cockles. I probably would have given it a 0 before we talked about it tonight, but now I think 0.5 is good, and it could even go up if I were to rewatch this again, which brings us to rewatchable, which I'm going to give a 0.5 as well. There's pretty much no way I'm going to watch it on its own, but if I'm ever revisiting the Rec series, obviously I'll have to watch it. So 0.5 there. So that's 0.5 across the board, 2.5 total.
Nice. All right, Sergio, you're up.
Okay. Engaging. I'm gonna give it a 0.5. Yeah, I was engaging. I was engaged and engaging. Sticky with the. I'm gonna give it a 0.5. I was gonna give it a 1 because I felt like there were like a few moments that really like stuck with me. But I think if I'm thinking this is the finale and compared to everything else, I felt like there could have been more. And I just feel like other movies did it better. So 0.5, T-shirtable, 0.5 as well. I think mainly for its poster. Has like Angela with like the motorboat, and it's like she's like bloodied and dirty, and it just looks really, really awesome. But it sucks that it's not actually like a part in the movie. So that's why I give it like a 0.5. Cockles, I'm going to give it a 0.5 as well. Mm-hmm. The cockle is not strong with this one.
Sure.
And rewatchable, same as everybody, 0.5. I think I would have to watch all the movies to really watch this one again. But this movie did make me love Rec 3 a lot more.
Nice.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, Rec 3, for sure, for me, is going to be the one I will return to most often. It is so good.
So that's a 2.5. That's not bad. Right down the middle. For sure. All right, Cody, round it out.
All right. So I've been thinking a lot about what my score should be as I'm listening to all of you. I think engaging. Originally, I was thinking a 1. I think I'm going to take it down to a 0.5. I think overall it was a fun watch, but I have to deduct some points for the fact that it includes apocalypse in the title, and there was nothing even like remotely close to it, and it's unforgivable for me. So
sure.
Now I got to keep you honest. You were drifting off in this movie.
that was because of
and that's fine. That's fine.
That was because of the time of day and not because of the boringness or lack thereof of the movie. So yeah, I would say 0.5.
Mm-hmm.
Sticky, I think I'd give this one a 1. I liked the twist in it. I thought that was good. I thought this was an interesting take on the zombie movie. I don't think I've seen one where we're on a boat before. I'm also amazed by
You didn't see Boat of the Living Dead? No.
That's our other movie.
Oh, sorry.
And I will also say I'm amazed that I have not found a way to put an I'm on a boat reference in this entire episode.
It didn't feel natural.
It didn't. So then T-shirtable, I'm going to give this one a 0 because while I think all the other Rec movies that we've talked about, there have been clear like images of what would be on a t-shirt in my mind, and I can't think of anything from this movie that I would want on a t-shirt, so that's a 0. Cockles, I would give this one a 1. And then rewatchable, I think I would give this one a 1 also. I did enjoy the movie. I thought it was good. I thought it was fairly original, and I also I can appreciate that this, and I think most of the other Rec movies, maybe with the exception of Rec 2, can be watched as a standalone movie. While I think some of the context from previous movies is helpful to understanding what's going on in the plot, because this doesn't reference the religious aspect at all. There's really no references to previous movies other than the specific characters that we see, like Angela, who are brought in. But I think that you could just present this as a standalone movie and it would still read perfectly fine. It wouldn't lose anything from not being part of the overall franchise. And I appreciate that about a movie, and not having to be something that like you have to watch as part of a combined set in order for it to make sense. So I think I would give this one a 1. I think that's 3.5 for my score.
That is 3.5.
Wow, that you got a lot more than I was expecting from you.
Does that feel right in your heart? 3.5?
Yeah, it feels right in my heart, because I'm starting to, I mean, at this point in my career of watching horror movies, I'm starting to get a sense for the type of movies that I enjoy. And while this wouldn't be at the top of my list, it's certainly not near the bottom.
Though gotcha. I definitely do want to do revisits of movies that you refuse to ever watch again. So
yeah, I'm sure there's
glad
probably
that this is not on that list.
Yeah, I'm sure your list is probably going to ever evolve as you get more and more exposed into it. Yeah. All right. So we're losing two people.
Oh, no.
Sam has to go do daddy stuff. Ross has to go do daddy stuff. So I'm pretty sure our final 2 questions would end us with, does it get into the Chuddle Club crypt, which no one scored it above a 4. So there's no way it's getting into it, unfortunately.
Oh, is this the first one out of, no. I mean, besides.
There's plenty that haven't make it into anything.
But at least of the Rec movies that we've seen,
in the Rec.
This is the first one that doesn't go in.
Oh shit, that's a good point. I don't know. I'd have to look at the scores.
I think Quarantine didn't make it.
And technically, yeah.
I think Quarantine didn't make it, from what I remember.
Sam has a fucking score list. God damn it. He would. Yeah.
Oh
no. And I'm working on a new one too. I just don't have it done yet for like the newer stuff. So that's interesting. I don't know, because I know 3 definitely did. I don't remember what we said about 1 or 2, or Quarantine and 2. But
yeah,
good to know.
Yeah, Rec 3 definitely made it up there.
It's still pretty average, middle of the road, not like a terrible
Yeah.
score by any means. And then the last question that I was going to ask is, which scenario do you want to participate in? Apartment, wedding, or boat?
Oh, wait, it means of like enjoyment,
Just in life. Just, you want to go hang
In
out at an
life.
apartment? Go to a no. Yeah, like you're in the apartment from the first one, so you have to experience that and try to survive that. You're not necessarily have to play out how the movie does, so you're not guaranteeing to die.
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks the apartment would be the easiest one to escape because you at least have a way of separating yourself out, but there's also a clear exit. Whereas
Mhm.
the boat, you're trapped. And
Right.
unless you can get to a lifeboat and get off the boat with enough supplies to last to whenever you get found, like you're going to have a really bad time. I don't think that I would want to be in the boat. The wedding, maybe, because it's so much more open, there's easier path to escape, but there's
Yeah.
also so many people that it spreads so much quicker. So I think
Right.
I'm going to settle on apartment. I think that's the most survivable out of all of them.
Funny enough, I'm also going to say apartment because one, I hate water. Therefore, I hate boats.
Sure.
So I'm not going there.
Two,
Weddings.
you hate weddings.
No. Two, weddings are so open and spread out. I'm going to have to run to places and
Mm,
I'm going to trip. I'm going to fall. I'm going to lose breath. It's not happening for me.
Sure.
Apartment is the way to go. Also, I think like how the movie plays out in the apartment is a lot more fun. I mean, it's
interesting.
horrific, but me, like, to be like the final person and people are like chasing me and I gotta like, catch me.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that would be fun.
Yeah, I agree. For the most part, I'm going to change mine, actually, I think. Ship, though, I agree with the ship being the first thing out. I think that's the worst scenario to be in.
Yeah.
Obviously, because there's no other exit. I mean, you could hole yourself up and hope that the ship doesn't have a self-destruct sequence that it's going to go through.
Exactly. Without that.
But I think I am going to pick the wedding. And the only reason why is just because of how the virus seems to be affecting people there makes them a little bit slower. And
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Maybe I can run away a little bit easier from them.
I
And
think so.
I don't know, battle them over there. The apartment, it's too claustrophobic for me, I think. Unless I was
That's
just,
fair.
again, sitting in my, like, I don't know how well I'm going to escape it. I'm going to be in my apartment and maybe try, unless they're snipers again. I don't know if they're sitting on the edge, but they're also terrible snipers. It's hard to say, but I think I'm definitely going to go to the wedding just because they tend to be slower, it seems like.
And it's weird because I, in my mind, know that the wedding is the choice to go to, but I'm a bad boy, you know? I choose violence.
See, I still think that the apartment is the right choice, though, because if we think back to what we said watching Quarantine,
Uh-huh.
it never would have happened if they didn't make everybody communicate. Like,
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
like has to come together and sit
You're
all
saying
together.
like keep in your own place.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If they had actually truly just quarantined in their apartment, there would have been one or two apartments that had a bad time, but
That's
it would have
true.
been the whole building that everybody gets killed.
You could have contained, maybe, hopefully there's better ways that it would have contained quicker. Sam, the
Yeah.
question was, which scenario would you rather experience? Living in the apartment, the ship, or the wedding? I said wedding.
Wedding. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more space to roam around, possibly escape, more escape options. Just seems the most likely to survive
That's beautiful.
option.
And do you remember off the top of your head by chance if Rec or Quarantine, Rec 2 made it into the Chuddle Club crypt?
I don't believe they did.
Okay, interesting. Because that's an average of 4 or above. I know Rec 3 definitely did.
Rec 3, I believe, is the only
Also,
one that
maybe
did.
just Rec 3 made it in.
Maybe.
Oh,
We
I think
will
the other-
confirm it.
They're like 3, 5, or 3.
They were close.
just
Between
maybe.
5 and
Close,
4.
yeah.
Okay.
But not quite there.
Perfect. Well, that's where we're going to go ahead and end the meeting for tonight. Huge thank you to our guests. Once again, you are always welcome back. You know that. The Horror Bandwagon, Cody and Sergio. We love having you guys on. It
I'm for
energizes
real
us.
about finding another franchise.
I know. We got to put in like names of franchises into a bucket
Ooh,
and just
yes.
like pick one out
Mhm.
and then start from scratch.
We'll do it. We'll do it
the-
for sure.
Guys, thank you so much for having us on.
Seriously.
Truly, it means the world. You have been nothing but kind to us on this journey, collabing with you guys. So honestly, it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it is always so much fun to hop on these recordings together.
Thank you. We have a great time as well. And everybody make sure to check out their YouTube channel as well. They have the podcast, but their YouTube channel has reactions. So you get to see their beautiful faces.
Yeah, you don't get to see our faces, but you can see theirs. Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely put links to everything down in the show notes below to make sure and jump over to them as well. Get into us. Oh
my God. Just like a parasite, get into that.
Just like a parasite, get into us. Jump on the Discord. You know how the places to find us and continue the stuff over there. And until next time.